I know the Sony ZV-1 is a couple of years old now, but it's been hyped up a lot, so I want to test for myself the video quality, the audio quality, the features, and I just want to see if the hype about this little camera is real. It's a really windy day today, so I've got the furry windshield on the ZV-1 and hopefully it's cutting out most, if not all, of the wind. Let me take it off so that you can hear just how windy it is. So this is what the audio sounds like without this furry windshield on, and I'm just going to put it back on. Yeah, so that's with the furry windshield on. I was going to try it with the Rode Video Mic Go 2 as well, but because I don't have a furry windshield for this, I don't think it's going to cut out as much wind as it should. So I might do this when it's not so windy, on a day that it's not so windy. I think autofocus works really well. I think it's really snappy and it just seems to pick up focus really quickly. I didn't feel like it lagged in any way. Also focus tracking, so it seemed to really capture me every time I came back into the frame. It was really snappy in that respect as well. Maybe I was expecting more from the product showcase because I don't think it made much of a difference having it on, apart from the fact that when you do switch product showcase on, it makes the field of view wider, and then when it's off, the field of view isn't so wide. But it just didn't seem any different, so I don't know if there was something else that I needed to do, but just selecting product showcase and then holding up an object just didn't really seem any different from just holding up an object whilst it was auto-focusing anyway. I think the background defocus works really well as well. It separates the subject from the background nicely, it's got a really smooth background, and I think it definitely makes a difference having it on and not having it on, and also it makes a difference when you're using f1.8 against the background blur, because the background blur does make it a lot softer than just using f1.8. So that's a really cool feature to have in the camera. I also tried out Intelligent Movie, which actually works really well. It's got a macro feature in it, so if you go closer to an object, it will focus on that object and blur out the background and it will become a macro shot. And it didn't work every single time, but most of the time it did work. And the other thing is that you could also create this macro-ish effect with the zoom. So the zoom is 70mm, I think. But if you set the camera to background defocus and then you zoomed in, you kind of get the same effect. But I guess with Intelligent Movie, it just does it for you automatically. You don't have to change anything. So that did work really well, apart from the times when it would just took a little while to focus on the subject that you moved closer to. So in terms of the zoom, it's a really good distance and it's quite a smooth zoom as well. If you do zoom in, the minimum focus distance will change from f1 to 2.8. So that's just something to be aware of. But if you're zooming into something quite close, then you're still going to get that soft background anyway. So it's not really a big deal in terms of the aperture. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed with the stabilisation. I thought it was going to be a bit better. And there are 3 levels of stabilisation. So you've got active, standard, and then just not having stabilisation at all. And you can see the difference between active and it being off completely, but it just didn't, the stabilisation just wasn't great. It was still wobbly and janky. So I think if you were going to be using this and you're going to be walking around and holding it, then actually having a gimbal is going to be the best way to get around that. The other thing is, considering this is aimed at vloggers, the focal length isn't really the best. It's really close, so you just feel like you've got this floating head in your videos, and the only way to really get around this is to use a third-party wide-angle lens adapter, or set your camera down on a tripod and just stand further back. But if you wanted to sort of walk, hold the camera and, you know, have your arms stretched out as you would, but just hold the camera whilst you were walking and talk at the same time, then it just feels really close. I didn't really like that about it. I also tried the soft skin effect because I was just curious to see what that looked like, and it's kind of weird. I don't think I'd ever use it at all. It just makes the skin look a little bit strange. So yeah, that's not one for me. One of the things that I have found quite annoying though is the fact that the battery compartment and the card compartment gets obscured when you attach a tripod or a selfie stick or something, so you can't open the door. So if your battery dies, you have to take the camera off the tripod or off the stick before you can open the door. So that's really annoying, and yeah, just really got to me. So one of the other things that I wanted to do was shoot some footage in S-Log2 and then some footage just using the standard picture profile, which is just nothing, so it's just off. And this was the difference between the two. One of the things that I forgot to mention about was the fact that the ZV-1 has a built-in ND filter, but it only goes to 2 stops, so it's a little bit useless if it's a really bright sunny day, because it's not gonna give you what you need if you wanted to shoot with 180-degree shutter rule. So it's good in like a kind, what am I trying to say? It's good in a lighting condition like this. It's really overcast today, and so it's not very bright. But otherwise, if you wanted something for a really bright day, then it's going to be pretty much useless. So I hope you found the video useful. I like to do real world tests on stuff that I get so that I can just see how they perform before I actually start using them properly. So I hope you found the video useful. If you did, do give it a like and subscribe to see more videos. I'm going to do a few more videos about the ZV-1. I do think it's a great little camera, so the hype was probably real, like, you know, the quality is really good. But I'm going to have a few more videos coming out about it, so do subscribe to see those. But yeah, thanks for watching and catch you next time.